Welcome back to another episode of Mind, Body, Spirit. I'm Dr. Kayte, and today's guest is an entrepreneur. He's also a pharmacist and works in the pharmaceutical industry, compounding drugs, but he got his claim to fame as a car guy for his involvement with exotic cars and high-end lifestyle decisions. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Brian Goldstein.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for coming.
Not a problem.
How are you doing?
It's a little nerve-wracking, all these cameras. Haven't done this in a long time.
No, we have a lot, right? Well, you look great, and you're very well lit.
I made sure to have a triple shot of espresso to get that energy level up.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about how you got your start in pharmacy.
So the day I graduated high school, my dad threw me the keys to one of the pharmacies, said, hey, I'm moving to Rochester. I have lupus. I'm going to go by the Mayo Clinic. And I met a girl out there, and smell you later. Okay, great. How hard could this be? Throws me the keys, start figuring it out, slowly but surely. We had one location in Beverly Hills, one in San Francisco, and I hated the commute to San Francisco, so we shut that down and brought it to California, Los Angeles area, and started growing them. And just over time, I'm good at networking, so it doesn't matter what my degrees are, just I'm a people person. So hey, talk with you want to work with me, great. And just like you and I talking on the phone, it's just easy conversation.
Right.
That's how I feel any business is. It's all about networking. It's not your degree on the wall or how smart you are. You got to be a people pleaser, and you got to please your customer at the end of the day, because if you're not going to get that support you need.
Right. Okay. So you basically took what he gave you and you created this very successful pharmacy compounding chain.
Yep.
And can you tell me more about what that is for people who don't know?
So compounding is kind of like baking a cake.
Okay.
Everybody has a different flavor. Everybody likes a little bit more of this. I'm 200 plus pounds, you're a woman, half my body weight, so for you, what may a dosage form of 500 milligrams might work for you, I might need 1,000. But regularly commercially available medications are one size pretty much fits all.
Right.
So we go in there and we custom tailor each dose to each patient. And we may add a little bit of this, a little bit of that to get it to what that patient needs.
Wow. Okay. So are you working with primarily drugs, or are you working with nutraceutical compounds like vitamins?
We work with a little bit of both.
Okay.
We do a lot on the holistic side, because that's just, I kind of believe in that more some ways.
Right.
Less side effects, there's not all those fillers. And doing compounding, I can remove a lot of the fillers, but it's more of, I have my own illnesses, and I believe in the holistic side because I've tried it on myself.
Right. And I know your particular health history is very unique because I don't want to tell your story, but I know that from what you shared with me, you were kind of starting to have some changes in some of your hormones, right? And then do you want to
Yeah, so my thing was I was 22 at the time-ish,
okay.
And I was falling asleep on my desk at work every day. I'd send my assistant, go get me a double shot, go get me a Red Bull, anything to get me a boost. And then 20 minutes later, I'd fall asleep. I was like, what the hell's wrong? Go to my doctor, does a bunch of labs. He's like, Brian, have you been abusing steroids? I was like, seriously, I'm fat. If I was abusing steroids, I'd be a lot bigger. And he's like, all right, I got an idea. Go get a brain scan. I was like, brain scan? What's that?
An MRI of your brain. Okay.
And he's like, with and without contrast. I was like, okay, gonna give me more info? He's like, nope, I don't want to scare you. I'll call you if it's anything. Week later, he calls me. He's like, hey, Brian. I was like, yes. He's like, well, we got an issue. I was like, what's the issue? He's like, you basically have a pea-sized tumor sitting on top of your pituitary gland, and that's why your body's not producing anything.
Wow.
So I went to the Mayo Clinic, I went to USC, I went to, I think it's St. John in Santa Monica, and everybody's like, hey, it's not that big, it's not affecting your vision yet, live with it. I was like, what do you mean live with it? Take it out. I'll sign whatever waiver. They're like, you don't understand. The risk outseeds the gain.
Yeah.
For you to inject yourself every day, we don't care.
Wow.
It's not worth it. And I was like, okay, so my daily regimen's probably 45 vitamins with 3 prescription drugs.
Wow.
And
you're doing that orally, or you compound some of it? Okay.
And
transdermal creams, or no?
It's so many things.
Okay.
I looked at my office staff and we're like, yeah, no, we're not going to help you. I was like, understood.
They don't want to help their
because for one, just for me, I'll go the extra mile for any patient.
Yeah.
But because I'm doing it all day long, when I'm in the office working on myself, it's like, I'll be fine.
Wow. But this is so fascinating to me because it almost makes you a perfect candidate for understanding how to kind of use biochemistry as a a tool to learn and tweak and practice and see what works, see what doesn't, change this level. And that's your business, right?
And the funny part is like how many patients I talk with on a daily basis, and they're like, well, my doctor's running me in circles and this and that. I was like, it's not your doctor's running you in circles. They don't understand, and they don't want to feel inferior.
Right.
And so they just grasp at anything to get you the answer instead of passing the buck to the guy that might know.
Right.
And like some of the endocrinologists I went to, they're like, well, Brian, you're 30 pounds overweight. That's why your body stopped producing. I was like, but I had energy before.
And you're 22.
Yeah, I was like, I'm 22 years old. Like, I don't care if I'm 50 pounds overweight. This
Right.
shouldn't be happening at 22.
Right.
And to have a total testosterone of 150, I was like, yeah. I'm
Right.
not. And one doctor at USC is like, you're still low normal. I was like, okay.
Are you kidding me?
I was like, the scale stops at 150. I get it. I'm low normal. But I'm 22 years old. I should be at the 600 to 700 range.
Yes.
I'm not asking to be a bodybuilder at 1500. Just get me normal energy where I can do what I want to do, no issues. And they're like, yeah, no, you're fine. So it was just that guessing game till I found a doctor that was willing to work with me and go through the struggle and do labs every 3 months and grow through it.
Yeah. And you're doing much better now, obviously.
Yep.
Like got your levels back up.
I got my levels back up. Every 3 months, like my body seems to tweak slightly, so we have to change something somewhere, but it's nothing too drastic or crazy.
So it's an interesting thing to talk about right now. There have been changes like over the years and pharmacy's ability to compound certain things that, as a doctor, like I know that the FDA can't really regulate what medical doctors choose to do in their practice, but what they can regulate is pharmacies, right?
So yes and no.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Let's say you're writing a prescription for me. You want a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. Technically speaking, the FDA can't regulate it. But the FDA can go to the State Board of Pharmacy in California and say, hey, we don't want this done. And if you want to do it, you have to fall under manufacturing guidelines, GMP, and that puts you under 503B. And then you have to deal with the FDA regulations. So in a nutshell, yes, they're stopping us from doing it, and they're limiting you in your practice from treating your patients the way you want.
Because we can't get the compounded material. So just to recap what you just said, this is mainly affecting things like vitamins, certain type forms of B12, NAD, possibly glutathione, right?
Oh yeah, and all that stuff, like all those, I don't even know what you call them, but those places where you can go get an IV drip when you're sick, have a hangover. Like they can't get a lot of the stuff they
unless
used to
they make it themselves, which they're not set up to do, and
which they're making it in an unlicensed facility, or they're getting it from a pharmacy that's shipping out of state in that is just flying under the radar. And
I mean, this is reminding me of like in Dallas Buyers Club when he was going to Mexico to get vitamins for the HIV patients, and then he had to fight with the FDA because they were saying, no, you can't use this stuff. I mean, we're basically back there again.
We're basically back to that, and they want to control whatever's going on. And it's like, we've been practicing pharmacy with less deaths, less adverse reactions, and now you guys want to do all of this to us? Like, are you kidding me? Like, if I were to go into my phone right now, there's probably 20 recalls I get every day from the FDA saying, pull this drug, this lot number. And I was like, they have recalls daily? Like, what are they doing wrong? And we've had 0 recalls, and we've been in business for 23 years.
Right.
Like,
that's interesting.
You kidding me?
That's really interesting. Yeah, and we'll hold our theories on why and what exactly the motivation is, but we'll assume it probably has something to do with money at some point.
It's always a money factor.
It's a money factor. Well, on a lighter note, do you want to tell us more about like your car stuff and what you kind of did with that got you so much
how I got Instagram famous?
Sure.
Which everybody's like, oh, Brian, you have 800,000 followers. You're making all this money. I was like, yeah, I make $0 from Instagram. I still work a 60-hour work week. When I'm on vacation, I'm on my phone and my laptop. My fiance is like, you gonna relax on the vacation or you gonna work? It's like, well, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And so me and my friends started a car club called Cup Gang, which is short for Cars Unite People.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've ever been to a car meet.
I haven't.
So you know where Chin Chin is at Sunset Plaza?
Yeah.
So the first Sunday of every month, there's a car meet now.
Okay.
And if you show up at 9 a.m., you will see 1,000 people in that lower parking lot. And everybody pulls up with their cars. Everybody's looking, and then there's a bunch of kids around, and all these kids are, no longer tagging, doing illegal stuff. All their parents are buying them cameras, and these kids are taking insane photos. They're doing some crazy stuff like hanging out of the cars while they're moving to get the shot, but the photos are insane.
Wow.
And, you know, my good friend, he's 16 years old. He's kind of like my nephew. He comes with me every weekend. We go shoot all day Sunday, and he's getting these insane photos in the mountains. He's like, Brian, I trust you. You're a good driver. It'll be fun. So, okay. And great example, we're up in the canyons. We pull over to park, take photos, and random people just pull over and come up and talk to us, and we all have that same love. It doesn't matter what you have or anything. I treat everyone the same, and that's how the car community is. Nobody's like, oh, I have a Ferrari, so I'm better than you.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. It's say hi, shake everybody's hand, get a lot of messages on Instagram. Hey, can we do a photo shoot? If I can coordinate it in my schedule, great. If not, like if I'm doing a shoot, hey, you can tag along on this day.
Right.
Just keep in mind, my crew has priority, and if there's room, just work with them. You know, don't do anything illegal, don't do anything dumb. Like, I don't want anyone getting hurt today. It's purely for fun.
Right.
And that's our thing, just hanging out with our friends and goofing off.
So this is like a passion you've had for, I guess, a long time for cars, right?
Oh yeah, since I was probably 12 years old.
Wow, okay.
You know, my dad got me my first dirt bike, played around on that, hurt myself plenty, upgraded to a street bike, almost killed myself. I still ride and race.
Okay.
Family's not too happy about that, but lately I've progressed into off-road racing, so
Wow.
I'm racing in Mexico 5-6 times a year.
So how fast do you go when you...
In Mexico, it's not how fast you go, it's how much you bounce around, because
okay.
it's not a straight road, it's a dirt, it's the middle of Mexican desert, so
Yeah.
you're just going. And last Thanksgiving, I lost radio communication with my co-pilot. I was like, hey, left turn coming ahead, right turn, and I thought I heard him say easy right. Well, it was a hard left.
Wow.
I threw the truck off the cliff. We rolled 9-10 times. And,
Your truck fell off a cliff?
oh, we barrel rolled off the cliff.
Wow.
Walked away, got out of the truck, a little sore, but then we waited for 6 hours for them to come rescue us, flip us back over, and drive home with that sad look on our face, like, because we were tied for first place in the championship, and I was really bummed.
Wow. So to wrap it back to advice that you might give, because you probably have a lot of younger
Yep.
audience, right? Aside from don't flip over cliffs and cars.
Yeah, don't do dumb stuff.
Or do that, no. Do you have any advice you could give to your audience? Or what kind of questions?
So
do
the
you
biggest
get?
question I get is, how do I become successful?
Okay.
And that's a very broad spectrum question, and I can give you the loaded answer. Hey, go to college, get a good degree, and you'll find a job. But as a lot of people are learning in today's times, it's not that easy.
Right.
You
That
know,
formula is kind of
That
outdated.
formula's gone down the drain, basically. So I'm not knocking school. I still think you should have a good education behind you, but don't stop there. Continue learning. You know, once you graduate school, how many books are you reading a day? My goal is to read 1 book a week. I probably end up reading a book every 2 weeks, so I'm reading 26 books a year.
Wow.
And to continue that personal growth. So instead of surfing Instagram, watching TV, I'm grabbing a book and I'm trying to read 3-4 chapters whenever I have free time. At work, when I'm trying to clear my head, catching up on a book just to continue that personal self-growth. And as long as you're consistently growing, I think you'll be successful. Obviously, it's not an easy run, as you know. You always have to reframe yourself and
Right.
do it and just have fun.
Well, that is excellent advice. And thank you so much for coming today.
Not a
This has
problem.
been an amazing interview.
Thank you for inviting me.
And sharing all of this stuff about your health. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
And where can people find you?
The easiest is Instagram,
Okay.
Brian Gold, PhD.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Well, this has been another episode of Mind, Body, Spirit. I'm Dr. Kayte. This is Brian. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day.